Hey everyone, hey dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. Another day closer to redemption. And I know I get discouraged on this channel with so many people in my personal life and just in the world not waking up to the truth of all this stuff. But I do hold out hope for this because people have told me that they've shown family members and friends and whatever. And, some people are waking up. It's a little slow at times, right? It's like this is urgent. Like the sooner you know this about the world, the more you can walk closer to Jesus. And again, just knowing the truth. Why would you not want to know the truth? Why would you want to live a lie? Doesn't that sound silly? It does to me. And I know some of the reason of this is that this stuff does seem like a conspiracy theory. I'm aware of that. But people that don't research at all and just go, this is crazy, I'm not going to research this, that is the wrong way to go about things because this stuff is true. Once you wake up to this stuff, there's no going back. Those of us in the Christian truth community, right, we know they live the movie. It's a documentary. The Matrix, right? You really want to wake up and see what the Matrix is? The Matrix, honestly, is Satan runs the world. So I know people won't like me saying this, but everything you think you know about the world is a lie. Am I being dramatic about that? No, because the earth is biblical. Creation's biblical. It's not that old. Big Bang Theory, theory of evolution, changing of kinds. Nope. Both of those things are man-made theories that are satanic in nature. If you do the research about these things, you will discover this. The globe and space are not what they seem to be. There is no globe, actually, is what I'm trying to say. I know this stuff goes over some people's heads and they just don't want to listen to this, but it's true. And it may be mentally taxing at first. You may think you're losing your marbles, but it gets easier and it gets better because for me anyways, and for most of my brothers and sisters on this channel, it helps us to walk with Jesus Christ more because we're living in the truth and he's the truth and he opened our eyes to all this stuff. Those of us in the truth community, yes, we had to research on our own, but God opened our eyes to these things and it improved my relationship with God, and it still does. Knowing this stuff about the world, let's all keep in mind again that the people on this channel, I don't hate them. I don't like them, right? There's a big difference between that. I don't like what they do because they take part in the deception of humanity. And they're whether they realize it or not, because they get fame, fortune, and success at the cost of people probably going to hell. Knowing this stuff made me have the fear of God, and that's the beginning of wisdom. I mention that often because it's really true, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant. Having the fear of God is like something everyone should have. And I'm not talking about being balled up in the corner crying, going, don't hurt me, God, please. No, it's a fear and a reverency. It's God is so powerful and mighty. Even me thinking about it, I laugh at myself because I'm like, I can't even begin to comprehend how mighty God's ways are, right? Like some people just want to think about creation. Oh, he created all of creation. That's pretty good. But no, think about thoughts and how our minds work and how our bodies work. And all of that stuff goes along with it too. And it just goes on and on. God is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Why would you not want to have a relationship with the person, the God that made you? Jesus Christ is a person. He was fully man, fully God when he was born of a virgin, immaculate conception. We're getting to Christmas time. I know Christmas trees are pagan and all this other stuff, and Santa is Satan and all these other things. I'm aware of that. But I still like Christmas because family comes together and people are a little more open to hearing about Jesus this time of year because, maybe they'll hear a Christmas carol. And again, I listen to CHVN, the Christian radio station where I live, and they play Christmas music. And it's not like there is a little bit of the Jingle Bell stuff, but it's mostly songs you probably haven't heard. And it's about Emmanuel being born, God with us. It's stuff like that. So to me, the reason for the season is Jesus. Jesus was actually born, like it says in the Bible. We just don't know the date. And a lot of people point to like 9/11 or whatever. Like, I don't know, so I'm never going to like say anything about that unless I am sure. And I don't think anybody's really 100% sure if we're being honest with each other, right? But I love Jesus Christ, his story, who he is, what he's done. I love the body of Christ of believers, right? Like, there's a lot of fake believers out there, and I do watch channels sometimes with like, there's scandals in the churches, and I try not to like listen to too much of that stuff because it can seem like kind of like, you know, I don't know, it just seems a little messy at times, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. But there's a lot of people that slip up or backslide, and like, I'm not perfect. I do those things. I still get angry and do things I shouldn't, and I feel bad for it and I don't want to do it, but the flesh is weak and I'm not saved by repenting of my sins. Although I want to, and I do, like, I repent of a lot of sins, but you guys know what I mean, right? Like, life is hard, and like I don't like swearing at all. I don't like hearing it, but sometimes I get angry and I might drop an F-bomb or something like that. And I don't like doing that, but it just kind of comes out because it's like a reaction. And prior to me being a Christian, I definitely didn't think anything of swearing. It was just whatever, right? Anyways, brothers and sisters, Roger Mooking is a television chef, and I used to watch a lot of Food Network, and I still watch it sometimes, but not as much as I used to. So what does Roger Mooking the chef do? He darkens one of his eyes utterly, doing one eye symbolism, the eye of Horus. Of course he does. I hope this is like raspberry jam or something. But he's doing the eye in the triangle, the eye of Horus. This is not always great because a lot of people are like, well, I do that sign. But they do this sign and it means 666. To you, it might not mean that, but to them, that's what it means. And it's a very subtle way of throwing up your, who you serve. He's got some devil horns here. He's doing one version of the Uttara Bodhi Mudra. I know a lot of people don't like this word because like it sounds weird and it's hard to spell, I guess. Once you know it, it's not. Uttara Bodhi Mudra. A mudra is just a hand gesture from yoga. And this one's supposed to represent supreme enlightenment, but it's not. It's the false light of Lucifer. The name Lucifer means light bearer. In Freemasonry, that's what they seek. They seek light to move up in degrees. And they believe they probably opened their third eye and aligned their chakras and all that other junk, which is New Age. Like, Freemasonry just reminds me of a mishmash of things. Old ancient Egypt and Babylon and all this yoga and meditation and New Age. It's just like, it's a whole mess. Index fingers together, pointed out, other fingers interlocked. And if you don't believe that he's doing that, you think he's just resting his hands. No, he's doing the Uttara Bodhi Mudra. He's doing it right here. This is the much clearer version, the version that's easier to spot. Index fingers pointed together, other fingers interlocked. He believes he has enlightenment, right? Because he's most likely a sold-out satanic Freemason that has fame, fortune, and success only because of what he's involved in. I'm not saying he has no natural talent. I'm sure he does. But the way the world works, they don't push and promote like the average person. They don't push and promote real Christians. And it's amazing that there's some channels on YouTube that have huge followings, and I do believe some of them are Christian. I do believe some of them are agents, and some of them are shills and gatekeepers and all that junk. But I think there are Christians with channels that have decent numbers, and they talk about the gospel and they're telling the truth. And again, it's a big discernment thing. We must use discernment. And for people that say, why are you judging or whatever, you're using judgment every day. Don't deny that you never use judgment. We all need to use judgment and discernment every day in life. That's how we know when things are true or false and all of that. It's very simple. And for people that get all bent out of shape, I'm telling you, I don't do this channel in hate. I do this channel because I love the truth and I want to expose the darkness. This stuff helped me to know Jesus, and it helps me to know Jesus. So I think it can do that for other people, and I've been told it can do that for other people. I never like talking about myself, but if people leave comments and they're like, hey, I get what you're saying here. I believe this stuff too. I'm trying to tell my family it's pretty hard, hey? That kind of thing. I love those comments because those are true comments. I know this stuff isn't easy. I have been researching like literally basically every day since 2015, right? That's a long time to be researching this kind of stuff, right? And it's not all this kind of stuff. I researched a lot of the new age before, quantum physics and all this other stuff. I got really into that. And that stuff takes you down a rabbit hole like there's no tomorrow. Quantum physics and everything, like, or like simulation theory, all these things. Again, no, we're living real life right now. God made us, right? We're human beings. We're made in God's image. Even people that are sellouts, they're made in God's image, and I'm sure God's not happy with them, right? But they don't seem to care. There's a lot of people in the world that have an attitude problem and that are very full of themselves. A lot of people think it's like life is all about them and all about how much they can make and how much they can whatever, and they want to flaunt it around. And that's what with these signs and symbols. I know there's still a bit of a debate on, like, some people are like, well, the photographer told them to do it. No, I think they really like doing these things, especially the Uttara Bodhi Mudra, because it's like them flexing, right? They're showing off. And it's a secret, so only a few people understand it and can see it, even though I show this every day. And there's people that watch my channel that have been watching it, and they're still not getting it. And that I'm baffled by that, because I think I do a pretty clear job of just like, here's this pose, I'm showing it, talk about it a little bit, and try and keep it pretty basic, right? I'm not trying to complicate things. It's just like they're sold out, right? They're doing these signs and symbols. I know it's hard for people to believe, well, they're not satanic or anything. That would be crazy. No, like the world is satanic, and a lot of people are too. They don't all look like Marilyn Manson. A lot of them are just like doctors, lawyers, actors, musicians, athletes, on and on and on. It's the whole world like this. It's us versus them, wheat versus tares, sheep versus goats. It really is that. We don't need to get violent. We don't need to like get guns or do anything drastic like that. We don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight a battle of spirituality, of darkness, of principalities, of the wicked things of this world. And what do? Shine light on it. Jesus is the light of the world. Point people towards him. Jesus is the solid rock and foundation to stand on. Everything else is sinking sand. And that's something too. Like, well, what do you mean? There must be some other way. No, Jesus is the only way. If you think that's narrow-minded, good. It's supposed to be. That's the way it's designed. Not everyone is going to follow the path of life and truth. But I sure pray more people would do that, like today. Today is the day of salvation. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know when the rapture is going to happen. Christians are trying to tell you we're living in the last days. Knowledge is increasing. The whole UFO and alien thing. Aliens are demons and fallen angels. They do not come from outer space or a planet. They come from the other dimension, the spiritual realm, or someplace below us. Figure it out. And that's just the world we live in. It's biblical, okay? Jesus, you cannot go wrong if you have faith in Jesus. That's where faith belongs. That's where everyone's faith belongs. He's God.